Oh, right. I'm Bubbles.
I'm Brendan.
And we are semi-limited.
We're here, we're just one card short of a full deck.
But not because there's a lack of floodgate cards in the game. The reason for this video is the fact that there's so many cards in the game that can just stop plays, stop decks, period.
Two videos that I saw that really made me want to talk about this. Inch 95 video, Saltiest Yu-Gi-Oh player, question mark, and
The RJB's here.
talk about degenerate decks, and it was just one line in there that made me think about and relate to what Inch 95 was saying, is that there's a lot of decks out there or cards that shut you down. They stop you from playing the game. It seems to be the reason the game has gotten a little bit stale almost. Vanity's Emptiness, Imperial Iron Wall,
Kaiser Coliseum,
And-
Slight Imprisoning Mirror.
and by floodgate cards, I guess it's kind of a toss-up between floodgate cards and soft lock cards.
Stalling cards in general.
The ones that are the most annoying are probably the continuous traps. I don't think that they've gotten rid of enough yet. It's not the individual cards themselves, it's just that there are so many of them.
Without Heavy Storm, it's like the people playing them are almost not punished by playing them. And it's not like you can just Black Rose when they have Vanity's Emptiness out.
Precisely, and it's not that we think that Heavy Storm should come back, because that's not necessarily what we think. But
Yeah.
if we're going to keep Heavy Storm away, then we also need to think about
Bring
getting
down
rid
the
of...
trap lineup a little bit more.
And the reason that this is kind of a problem is, besides the reasons we already discussed, talking about the Inch 95 video, he made the comment that was rather interesting, that nowadays the game isn't as interesting because you're not trying to beat your opponent. You're trying to outlast your opponent. You're not worried about winning. You're worried about not losing. And that makes it a boring, grindy experience.
The problem is, for me, as someone who does not play the meta, as it might be defined, some of those decks that I play, they need these floodgate cards simply because they're not good enough to beat the meta without them. Something like Bujins, or no, not necessarily Bujins because they're not fast, but like Fire Fist because they're ridiculously consistent and rather fast, that they can just continuously put game on the board and I have nothing to stop them.
That, and I think that the reason you need so many floodgate cards now is just because that's what the meta is right now. If you don't have floodgate cards, then your opponent's going to have a way to lock you from making your plays. And it's unfortunate that decks now are geared towards stopping your opponent rather than focusing on your own plays. And coming from the other side of things, if you would consider Constellars a meta deck, which I think now it's safe to say that they're rather meta, I've seen the way that I've played recently change. And I realized that it is exactly as what's been said. I'm not playing to win, I'm playing to outlast my opponent. I guess it's more of a reactive deck now, just the way that I have to play it. And I don't like having to play that way. I like being able to make plays because I want to make an XYZ monster because that's my forward play, not that I need to make an XYZ monster because I fear X and or Y. Not Pokemon, that's just fill in the blank kind of things.
I'm afraid of those.
I'm afraid of those.
Those games are so good.
But I don't want to have to make an extra deck monster just because I'm afraid of fill in the blank. And that's just what I have to do in order to survive. And the fact that I have to say it that way, what I have to do in order to survive, that just means that it's not as fun as it should be right now, because there is so much countering to what opponents can do, and it's not in the form of the deck itself. It's in the form of the back row you run. It's in the form of your floodgate cards. It's in the form of your soft locks, and it's just obnoxious. And even more obnoxious is the fact that I was taking inventory of all these soft lock, floodgate, and stall cards. I put them all in one deck on DevPro, and it worked together because there's so much advantage to having floodgate cards and stopping your opponent from what they're doing, and just cards that are so high reward, low risk, and it's just stupid, and it's the way everyone plays now, and it's not fun. It's not as fun as it
It's
should
much
be.
more difficult to play around the back row, and without like an incredibly aggressive deck or a deck that really is good against back row, it's difficult. It's just difficult to win.
But I feel now would be an appropriate time to showcase that deck I was talking about, just to exemplify how ridiculous this is. But I think this is the last you'll see of us this video. So until next time.
Do some stuff with the stop.